Welcome to the ROI Puzzle. I'm Nicole Stirling from Stirling Marketing. On this show, I sit down with leaders in B2B tech to untangle the numbers behind great marketing. Today, we're diving into the revenue impact of sales and marketing misalignment in MarTech. It's a challenge that frustrates even the most experienced marketing leaders, and one that's becoming harder as tech stats get more complex and buyer journeys less predictable. And if your leads are dropping off somewhere between marketing and revenue, and you can't pinpoint where because your teams aren't aligned and attribution isn't actually tracking the real buyer journey, you're not alone. At Stirling Marketing, we generate over $7 million in pipeline for B2B tech companies in 12 months with a campaign engine built to close, not just engage. Last quarter, we helped a tech client come in 73% above their pipeline target. And I've created something specifically for marketing leaders who need to diagnose what's broken fast. It's called the Pipeline Acceleration Roadmap, a 60-minute strategy session where I'll audit your funnel with you, map out a visual diagram of exactly where your leads are getting stuck, and send you a prioritized action plan that you can take straight to your CEO or CRO. If you want to finally pinpoint why your leads aren't converting to pipeline and get a clear roadmap to fix it, book your free Pipeline Acceleration Roadmap at stirlingmarketing.net/roadmap. With that, let's dive into what happens to revenue when marketing and sales are misaligned in MarTech, joined by Julianne Martin, Director of Marketing at DigiStore24. DigiStore24 is an all-in-one online sales platform with affiliate marketplace access, conversion tools, and automated back-office support to help digital entrepreneurs scale globally. As Director of Marketing, Julianne specializes in growing DigiStore24's brand, supporting top affiliates, and hosting high-impact events that drive connections and growth. So, Julianne, welcome to the show. As marketers...
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. As marketers, we often hear when sales and marketing aren't aligned that revenue suffers. Thinking about that line, what's the first story from your experience that comes to mind?
Sure. Yeah, it's always you see the revenue suffering when you realize something had gone wrong earlier in the process. So, but yeah, I'll forget one recent SaaS launch that we had where we were building this amazing campaign in marketing. So we were working on a new vertical that we knew that sales wanted to also connect with because like DigiStore24 allows anyone with an offer or a product to use our platform to sell their product. And so it can be across a wide array of industries. But we were working on speaking more targeted to different user personas or people in certain verticals. So we did the research, we were researching the industry, we were building out beautiful creative, sharp messaging, tons of engagement, just how we could get in front of this audience. I think we waited a little too long to bring sales into this because when we started presenting it to them, they loved the idea, but then they'd bring in the actual tidbits of how they would have a conversation with these people in this type of vertical. And so our messaging and how they would speak to the customer was almost completely different languages. And, it was, although we were getting closer to it, we had to really reevaluate the marketing messaging of like the values that we were highlighting for that user persona and make sure that it actually made sense with the conversation sales was having. And because if we didn't do that, if we would have just launched without having sales involved and highlighting those, we would have made buyers confused. The cycle would have slowed down because they would have had to do a lot more education along the way, and we would have lost a lot of deals. So we were able to go back and just pivot the messaging and some of the targeting we were going to do in ads and make sure it was going to find the right people that they were geared up and ready to have conversations with.
Amazing. So I'm kind of curious then what you're doing with the sales team now that's different from like a lesson learned from that campaign. How do you work together more closely?
So now we meet weekly. I meet directly with the other directors. We have a director of affiliate, director of vendors, and then the director of sales. So we have a really close relationship. We're almost like one team. We have a Slack channel all together. We have meetings regularly. And so I kind of bring them into our project timeline, what we're working on. I try to get their feedback very early on in the process and also just try to identify needs that they're having. So if I know that they're going to be trying to pitch a certain big potential client, and I could see if there's anything we can help that with, like providing case studies or updating the messaging. So it's really just seeing us as one team, and we're the revenue generation, customer touch point team overall. I think it's been a lot less about separate teams just informing each other and more about collaborating and developing the strategies together.
I love that. So how are you seeing that now show up in your revenue metrics, that change in the relationship?
Yeah, we're seeing that because by the time they might speak to somebody, it's very rare that they would never have heard of us before. Like DigiStore24 is a little newer in the US market, but we talk with people all over the world. It's much bigger in the German market, but often they've heard about us or they know about us because they worked with the competitor. So it's very rare that they talk to somebody that's never heard about DigiStore24 in our target audience, but often they misunderstand it or they find they don't know all the features. So we're trying to take a lot of those gaps and make sure that the touch points that they have before we even know about them are helping to fill the education. So we've taken a lot of those misunderstandings or misconceptions or the common questions, and then we've gone into new areas of marketing. So because a lot of the conversations happen on Reddit or on dark social, like on conversations in groups. And so we have some way of monitoring that and getting involved in conversations much earlier to help alleviate misconceptions so that when our sales team actually speaks to someone, they're a lot more aware of it. So it's kind of a reverse funnel where a lot of this we wish we would have done at the beginning, but there's misconceptions from a couple years ago, when someone's first maybe started to talk or think about coming on our platform and they didn't choose us, and now they're at the new cycle of looking for a new platform, and we want to be there earlier on. But we took the insights that sales gave us on those gaps, and then we're getting back in the cycle so that it could be months before they ever talk to our sales team, but they've been seeing so much of the right information about us that to helping make the case. So they're more educated by the time sales meets. So that's one way. There's probably a few other ways. But
amazing. No, that's perfect. And is there, last question, I guess, any advice that you've got for listeners for how they can work a little more closely with their sales team and bring the whole marketing team along with the sales journey?
Yeah, I think definitely have the conversations with sales, because marketing might have touch points much earlier on than sales, but you'll see the proof of what you need to talk about when with sales. So I've even sometimes joined sales calls or had members of my team, like if our content team wants to write an FAQ article or an article about a common question, they'll invite us to actually sit in on sales calls, or if they can record them, we can listen to them. And a lot of times, like being involved and trying to understand the sales process at that level lets you create content that is correct. Like we can pump out ebooks and decks and blog articles all day, but we need to actually speak to the question sales is getting. And so just I think it's having conversations, meetings, bringing them into marketing strategies earlier, and having sales insights drive marketing strategy.
Thank you. Well, Julianne, where can people find out more about you and what you're up to at DigiStore24?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, so I think that's probably the best way to find me. So digistore24.com is the main site. We do have sites in every language that would translate for you, but we also have a great Instagram at Digistore, where that's probably our main channel that we post on, and I engage a lot of the posts there. So if they want to connect with me on my Instagram as well, it's currently it's Julianne of the Martins, but yeah, my LinkedIn is Julianne S. Martin, and
perfect. Yeah. Well, that sounds amazing. Thank you for that, and that's a wrap on the ROI puzzle for today. So huge thank you to our guest, Julianne Martin from DigiStore24. As she mentioned, you can check out their platform at digistore24.com. And if you're a B2B tech company struggling with leads that aren't converting to pipeline, grab your free pipeline acceleration roadmap at stirlingmarketing.net/roadmap. And I'll show you exactly where your pipeline, your funnel is broken and how to fix it fast. And if you want to share your own story on the show, head to stirlingmarketing.net and click Let's Chat at the bottom of the site. This is Nicole Stirling, helping you solve the ROI puzzle, one conversation at a time.